10, 9, 8, 7.
Hey there,
6.
ladies and gentlemen.
5,
I appreciate you all
3,
stopping in
2,
to
1.
check out my little corner of the internet.
Sound checked.
I am constantly in awe and deeply appreciative of each and every single person and at every single comment and view. Thank you so much. Today, I wanted to talk about the innovations that Clark has brought to the table with the introduction of the BIOPADS. So, I don't know if you've seen these things, but they are ridiculous. In order to really appreciate the BIOPAD, though, we have to kind of look at the short history of the power pads and how they've seemed to kind of develop in modular instances. With the advent of torque pads, originally, custom things that people did in a DIY context, a lot like the one that Laxina, he did a tutorial, and it's a lot like that. Or even Mike Leahy, he's really, really popular for jumping. I'm sure you've heard of him. And he rode an RS high torque for a very long time, and that was his main wheel. That was the one that he absolutely loved, and he used some DIY pads on that, like some yoga block stuff. Not only did they do that, but Kuji also had his own kind of, that's Kuji Rolls. He had his own kind of pad thing where it was like an arc over the ankle that was kind of like cut out to make it work, where you could kind of squeeze your feet into the wheel and jump up. And that's where the S18, I think, more or less got its look from, in terms of that sort of ankle grab to jump sort of technique. It's really, really, really Kuji inspired. I'm pretty sure he says he worked with Kingsong on that. And then also with the original Clark pads, the one-piece pads. These days, though, there's just all sorts of pads, like DIY options. There's just so many. You go to either Pulse 3D or you go to a place like Thingiverse, and you'll see all sorts of options. These all follow a pretty similar formula. They need to provide 4 components: stopping points at the upper and lower calf, an acceleration point in the tibia, and lift points on the toes or the top of the foot. In the last year, both Grizzla and Kinetic pads have come out with hinging systems for the front and back pieces, opting for a modular design that is flexible with the rider's preferences and positioning and angles for performance and comfort. Clark, well, he doubled down on his one-piece system and really pushed the envelope of what can be done with a 3D printer, experience, and ingenuity. Most people, I think, would agree with Sean from New York when it comes to the idea of wearing the EUC versus riding it. After a certain point, the wheel is literally an extension of your body. The only problem is that your connection with the wheel out of the box from the distributor will likely be a dial-up connection. Simply pedals and no real pads to speak of, or barely adequate pads if they are in fact included. Traditional pads up to this point have been good enough at bridging the gap between rider and wheel, making it possible to accelerate, jump, and brake with a force unheard of before the advent of the foamer 3D printed leg blocks. It was not obvious what the next direction would be. And the answer wasn't really clear to anyone, it seemed anyway, except for Clark. From a rider standpoint, I didn't know what to expect when I put the pads on the side of my wheel. I had an idea of what was possible, but it really didn't. I wanted them for my v12ht torque. I knew some magic was waiting for me there, but I really didn't know what. I stepped onto the wheel and immediately hopped off. The familiar pad shuffle was on me. It was, kind of cumbersome sorting them. After a few minutes, I found the perfect fit and feel. Again, I stepped onto the little V12. I leaned a bit, and it was interesting. Feeling so much of the nuance of my body translated into the wheel, I carved left and right, I double carved and turned around. Bunny hopped, 180'd, I bonked off of everything. The wheel was brand new. Now, the power and allure of the V12 high torque became clear. Its less torquey brethren, the high speed, is no slouch in terms of wheels. In fact, that wheel, well, it tops out at about 43 miles an hour and cruises faster than the high torque big brother. But the high speed sags and grunts when you dump force into it, and a hard lean can produce a little bit of squish. And the pedals, this is not so with the high torque. There is no hint that the wheel is at its thresholds while in the lower speed ranges. The lean means so much. The carving is so inspired, and the jumping is finessed with more ease than ever before. It's nothing short of a miracle that in a world where suspension wheels are becoming the rule of thumb for people, that an innovation such as the Clark BIOPADS brings a breath of fresh air into the 16-inch Titan that is the V12. If you own a V12 high speed or a V12 high torque, I highly encourage you to go on ahead. Get yourself a pair of the Clark BIOPADS. I imagine they would be fun on the Nikola as well. Any 16-inch platform is going to feel insanely organic and energetic and frenetic with the connection you use when you establish these BIOPADS. I do have a link down below for the pads. I also have an affiliate link with Clark. Any purchases made using that link does help support the channel. I just wanted to be transparent about that. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, you all. Have a great day.